Carrie here. So, have you ever gone through phases where you feel really unmotivated, where you just can't be bothered to do anything, perhaps even to the extent where you struggle to get up in the morning because you just have no motivation? I have felt like this on more than one occasion, and I often find that I lose my motivation for a number of reasons, but one of the most common reasons I lose my motivation is when I've got too much going on, and it's like my focus is being dispersed down so many different avenues, and it's like I don't have the energy to keep up with it all and to keep moving forward with everything, and all of a sudden everything just becomes overwhelming and hazy and confusing, and all of a sudden I just realise I've just lost my motivation. I have lost my drive to move forward with things. Everything just seems really hopeless and it can be really frustrating. Another time where I feel like I lose my motivation is when I just get into these habits of just working, and I feel as business owners, especially if you work on your own, if you have an online business or if you work from home, it can be really easy to get into these habits where you just spend a lot of your time working in the day, working at night, working at weekends, and often I will get into these habits of these patterns of doing this, and I'll get to this point where all of a sudden it's like I've just burnt myself out and I just can't do it anymore, and I just lose all my motivation, all my energy, all my drive to keep going and to do things. And the problem is that when you feel unmotivated, it comes with a whole string of other emotions. You end up feeling really down, you feel unhappy, you often feel guilty. You know, I have felt this before. So back in 2008, I was working from my apartment. I turned my second bedroom into an office, and I would spend practically every day working from that room with my laptop. And I remember reaching this point where I just felt so unmotivated. I lost all my drive to do anything. And not only did I lose my motivation, I ended up feeling really guilty because I wasn't achieving as much as I wanted to during the day because I didn't have the motivation to do anything. And so by the time it got to the evening, I was then making myself feel really bad because I hadn't done what I wanted to do, and I felt really guilty because I wasn't getting on and doing things, and I felt lazy and ended up making myself feel so bad about it all, and I felt really frustrated. So when you feel unmotivated, it brings with it a whole host of other emotions, and often if you're not careful, it just leads you in a spiral downwards and downwards and downwards until you just feel like everything's hopeless, like you can't really do anything anymore, like you can't go on, and you just don't know what to do, and you're tired and you're fed up, and you just really reach this point where you just can't be bothered. And that is exactly how I felt in 2008. And for me, it went on and on and on because I didn't know how to pull myself out. I didn't know how to get that spark back, how to get that motivation back. And that was a real problem for me. And I think this happens to a lot of people where we end up carrying on and on and on for days, for weeks, for months, and for some people even years, feeling really unmotivated. But we don't really acknowledge that we're feeling that way, and we don't really know how to pull ourselves out of it. So we just carry on and on and on, being controlled by the feelings that we're experiencing, thinking that there's nothing we can really do about it to get ourselves motivated again. And once I'd been through this and once I'd come out the other side, I decided that I never wanted that to happen again. I never wanted to go through such long periods of time where I felt unmotivated. Yeah, I knew I was going to go through days where I was unmotivated again and have days where I couldn't be bothered to do anything, and that was fine because that's completely normal, but I just didn't want it to go on and on and on. So I devised a little strategy for myself for whenever I was feeling unmotivated, a little strategy I could call upon to help me to pull myself out of the situation and to help me to really get re-energized, get re-motivated, get really fired up and determined again. So I created this strategy and I want to share it with you now because it's helped me so much. In fact, I actually used it the other week because I felt so unmotivated, and what happened was I just got to California and my plan was to do so much stuff whilst I was here. I wanted to work on so many different things, and as soon as I got here I started working, and by the end of the first week I just hadn't achieved what I wanted to achieve, and my head was all over the place, and I wasn't as focused as I wanted to be. And then by about a week and a half, 2 weeks in, I realised I'd lost all my motivation. I just couldn't be bothered to do anything at all, and that's what was really stopping me from making the progress I wanted to be making. And so I knew that I had to do something about it. So I followed this strategy which I'm just about to share with you, and it helped me so much, and I'm going to tell you exactly what I did. So the first step is to really take a step back from the situation and to acknowledge what's really going on. Because, you know, like I said before, like in 2008, I went through this period of time where my period of unmotivation went on and on and on for ages, because I never took a step back to actually look at what was going on so that I could then deal with it. I was just living in my life and just getting on with things day in, day out, and I just felt stuck in this situation. And I didn't take that step back so I could actually see, okay, what's going on? Okay, yes, I'm feeling unmotivated, that's fine, that's normal, okay, this is how I deal with it. So I think that is the first step, to really take a step back and own up to what's going on. Just become aware of what's going on. If you're feeling unmotivated, it's fine. Like, it doesn't matter. We all feel unmotivated. And in fact, once you know or you acknowledge that you're feeling unmotivated, that is the best thing ever, because then you can actually do something about it. The worst place to be is to be unmotivated and to not really know that you're feeling unmotivated, or not to really, you know, not really acknowledging it. That's almost like the worst place you can be, because then you can't do anything about it. So just try and become aware of what's really going on. And then you want to be willing to do something about it. And sometimes this can be quite challenging when you're feeling unmotivated, because I've had it in the past where I have felt so unmotivated that I couldn't be bothered to motivate myself to pull myself out of my unmotivated phase. And I think that a lot of people feel this way, but you just have to kind of just have a tiny little bit of willingness will do. So once you've got that, the next step to take is this. You need to take time out. Take time out from everything. Take time out mentally and physically. You know, I think we give ourselves a hard enough time as it is normally, but when we're feeling unmotivated and we're not making the progress we want to make, we're not doing the things we need to do, it's almost like it gets a million times worse. So you have to really give yourself a break. And in the past, when I've done this, my time out has varied from maybe a couple of days to a day to half a day to even an hour. Just allow yourself to take the time out and give yourself permission to take that time off, and just let go and surrender all of what's going on. Relieve all the pressures. Just stop focusing on it and give yourself a break from it all. And then once you're on timeout, I want you to really focus on getting yourself feeling more inspired again, getting that fire going back inside of you, igniting that fire, feeling that drive, feeling that determination, feeling that passion. You need to do whatever you can to connect back to that feeling, to connect back to that inspiration, to that passion, and to that drive. And obviously everyone is different, so what works for me might not work for you. But I'm just going to share with you what I did the other week to help me get my inspiration back and to get my drive back. So one of the first things I did is I went on YouTube and I watched inspirational videos that I knew would inspire me. And as it happens, I ended up watching some videos that were by Esther and Jerry Hicks. I have their audio program, which is called Ask and It Is Given. And I know that when I listen to that program, something about it helps me to change the way I'm thinking and feeling. And within a few minutes of watching their videos, I felt so inspired. I felt that feeling coming back, that feeling of things are possible. I can change this, I can turn this around, and I can get really motivated again. So find videos on YouTube and or find people that you really like, that really inspire you, and go and watch their videos on YouTube. So another thing that I did as well was I downloaded a new audio program which was by Doreen Virtue called Manifesting with the Angels. And in this program it was all about manifesting what you want, and along with it was a guided visualization. And I like taking time out to quieten down my mind, to get all that junk out of my mind, and just to focus on me and on what I want to manifest and what I want to create in my life. And so I made time to listen to her program and to go through the guided visualization, and that really helped me. And another thing that I did over a couple of days was I listened to another program of Doreen Virtue's, which is a chakra clearing program, and that program really helps me as well. And if you're not really into doing meditations or that kind of thing, then that's completely fine. So another thing that you can do, which I find really helpful, is listening to inspiring music, listening to music that makes you feel relaxed and inspired, and puts you in that zone of where you feel like anything's possible. Or go and watch a movie that really inspires you. You know, take some time out and write down a list of all the movies and all the songs that really inspire you, that really get you going, that get that fire inside you reignited, so that whenever you have an unmotivated phase, you can go and watch those videos. You can take time out and go and watch those videos to help get you inspired again, to help get you reconnected with that passion and that drive and that inspiration. So that really helps me. And another thing I did is I decided I was going to go for a run, and I got my iPod and I listened to an audio program I have from Tony Robbins, and I went on my run and I listened to this program, and by the time I got back I just felt so fired up and so motivated by his words. And I don't know if you're kind of starting to see this, but for me this time out is all about getting back those messages into my mind that make me feel like anything's possible, that inspire me, which fill me with hope and positivity. And I just really absorb it all and soak myself in those positive messages, those messages that help me to get out of that frame of mind that I was in and pull me into a positive frame of mind where I feel really hopeful. And then aside from doing all the personal development stuff, I also decided to take time out to just have fun, to have a laugh, to just do stuff that's completely not related to business and that's just fun, and I can just really just have a good time and enjoy myself. And so by the end of my time out, I felt really re-energized and inspired, and I had that spark back inside of me again, which is amazing. So once you feel like this, the next step that I would suggest before you then get back on and start working again is to go over your goals and to write new goals for the next week ahead, and get really clear on what it is that you're going to do for the next few days, and then have a little plan so that you know exactly what you're going to do. So when you get started on it, you're so in the zone, you're so focused, and you can get on and do it with all that drive and inspiration. So those things really help me. Whenever I'm feeling unmotivated, it always helps to pull me back up and to get me inspired and re-energized and get that drive back inside of me to carry on and to work towards achieving amazing things. So I hope it really helps you as much as it helps me. If you have any advice or any tips on how you get over feeling unmotivated and how you motivate yourself again, then please leave a comment and let me know. I'd love to hear about it, and I'm sure everyone else would too. And if you are interested in finding out more about those audio programs that I listen to that help me, then I'm going to leave links to those programs on the blog post, which is at femaleentrepreneurassociation.com. So I hope you've enjoyed this video, and I will see you next time.